Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Olimoleague. I'm Rifkin, joined, of course, by Zombie Grub. How you doing, Zombie Grub?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm awake, which is, I guess, what matters the most. Although, I will say I'm pretty proud of myself today. For those who don't know, I typically set about 5 alarms in 2-minute intervals to make sure I'm awake in time for a broadcast. I only slept through 3 today. I'm feeling proud. Although the annoying thing was after I woke up, I was like at the computer, the other ones kept going off, and I was just like, I'm awake, shut the fuck up. You can stop.
Sure. Well, mine woke me from a pretty scary dream. I'm trying to describe this as accurately as possible because it was actually really freaky.
No,
But
hang
like
on.
in a
Is
way
this
that's kind of like
is this horrifying as in like it sort of horrifying or horrifying like too real for real situations?
like it, I guess, but it's more like Chucky.
Oh, like from Rugrats?
God no. Although that is pretty terrifying on its own. An art style though. I don't know why, but I had this dream where um so I don't know. Rapid casting was in it.
Actually,
Apparently he was staying in
hold
my
on.
house.
Before you tell the story, I'm curious. Are you one of these people who really, really reads into dreams, or is this just gonna be like
No.
that was a dream, but it's still fucking weird?
It was just a dream. It was really weird because it mixes a bunch of things that might have happened in life and just puts them all in a dream. And I'm like, why? So, anyways, he's like living in my house. Like, he's in one of the spare bedrooms, right? Because we have like 2 spare
Why
bedrooms.
would you offer that to rapid casting in the first place? Like that's
He was, anyways. So, okay, but like the thing he's doing, right? So I'm falling asleep, right? And I remember like having Apollo like curled up in my arms, and I'm falling asleep, and Rabbit fight like finds that I'm like this great idea is that he's gonna start like basically Pokemon challenging me with Pokemon that appear in real life. He thinks like it's a fun mini game that you can play on your phone, but like it comes to real life, which I don't even know. But the point is, it's
okay.
like 2 in the morning, and like a Pokemon from hell walks into the door, and I have to defeat it. Like I actually have to kill it, you know? Like I don't have my own Pokemon. I have to kill it.
Oh, so this is like real Pokemon. Okay.
I guess so. So I killed this one, and I'm like, oh my god, I used like all my potions and all my
Murderer.
like items to do it. And I'm so tired. I just want to go back to sleep. And then he decides like another one would be really fun, you know, because I defeated the first one so easily. So he sends me another one. All I remember is I have to run away because I don't have potions, right? I usually like I literally run away. So I run over to my parents' room. I just remember seeing a Pokemon. It was like the penguin Pokemon, you know, like the cute one from the new gen.
Okay,
And
you
like
say new gen, but that's probably like fucking 4 gens old by now. Are you talking about Piplup?
yeah, it's not the second generation, is it?
Piplup is like not new. I don't even remember when Piplup came out, but Piplup is like
It's not
far from
new.
new.
But the point is, it's not like Charmander or whatever. It's not first gen. There we go. But I just remember like Piplup basically standing there with a knife. Okay.
I
Like an
gotta.
actual knife, like it was gonna shank me. And I had to take care of it. And I was so mad at rapid casting because he wouldn't let me sleep. So I woke up feeling like I hadn't been asleep. Because my dream, he kept waking me up.
Well,
So I'm pretty tired.
so there's 2 things. First off, looks like the bracket's set, and interesting turnout for people. But I'm really sad because I don't see Beal on this list. Feels bad, man. I'll have to
Not
poke
either.
him. Yeah, I'll poke him and talk to him about it. But we got a lot of really good matches. We got Classic and Stats in the bottom, Impact and Keen. Scarlet's playing today, which is kind of cool. Maybe we'll cast some Scarlet, give you guys what you want, that sort of thing. Gumiho, a lot of names that I don't recognize on the bracket as well. Alive and Solar play a pretty good match right off the bat. I mean,
Yeah.
it's either Scarlet versus some. I don't know who that is for Protoss, or I think Alive versus Solar. It's got to be one of the two, right?
I like classic versus stats, but I was gonna go with a live solar.
Classic Stats isn't bad either. I mean, I'm down for whatever you pick. You pick because I want to really dissect this dream thing for a moment.
Okay, I like there's one other thing which might explain why I had this dream. But hold on, let me message.
Well, so
Actually,
hearing this dream, the first thing I think about immediately is like someone's got rapid casting on the brain.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's some subconscious feelings going on there one way or another.
Okay.
Secondly, no, that's about it. Why the fuck are you dreaming about rapid casting? This is the most worrisome part of this whole thing. Not Piplup with a knife. I'm not even mad that you
Really?
didn't even know which
Piplup with a
generation it came
knife.
out from.
It was pretty scary.
For me, if I have this same dream, same scenario, and I gotta walk in this, I'm just like, Rapid, what the fuck are you doing here? Get out of my house.
So
Go back to Korea.
We hung out in Korea a lot, and we would stay over at like Scarlet and our regrets, basically. So that
Hung
is
out.
explainable. Like, I'm not too worried about that.
Got it.
But there's another part. There's another thing that like had to do with another dream that I had, which is the reason why I think the Pokemon and Rapid Casting combined together. Okay, so like a couple weeks ago, I had a dream that I was in Korea again, and I was hanging out with Rapid and Jake and and Sasha, Scarlet, and we decided to get tattoos. I don't know why, because tattoos are really like not so great in Korea, but we did. So I'm thinking about getting like a small tattoo, and Scarlet all of a sudden is just like, I'm gonna all 150 Pokemon on my back, because the guy was like, no one's ever done this, it's a challenge, and she's like, I'll take that challenge. So I watched her like get like 150 Pokemon on her back, 151 I suppose, because Mew was involved.
Uh-oh.
And I told Rapid the story because we talk on Kakao, and I guess that's where it combined together.
So, by the way, I know you just said you talk on Kakao, and for those who don't know, Kakao is like a Korean sort of Skype type thing. But it sounded like you're like, we talked like a cow. And I'm like, moo?
Moo. So, you know, what comes through this, though, is that I didn't feel like I was asleep. So I woke up to my alarm, and I was just like, I felt like I wasn't asleep for the last like 4 hours, man. And I got a good amount of sleep too, or I was supposed to.
Supposedly. Well, guys, Zombie's weird dream stuff aside, we're back. It's been about 3 or 4 days since we've done any real casting, so I gotta tell you, I was a little bit restless. I spent a lot of time sleeping, and I didn't know what to do with my free time. But I'm happy to be back, and I'm glad to see so many people joining us for this first cast. Also, I got to give a big thank you to all these people who subbed while we were gone. I'm not going to thank every single one, but just the last couple of days, even while we weren't broadcasting anything at all, Dylan16807 was a brand new sub. Runs Fast 85 was a brand new sub. The Mooing Pig. Pigs don't go moo, but cats also don't go honk. Thank you for the new sub. Orbitron 3000. And then at the start of this stream, we had Girthang 3019 hit us up with a 25-month resub. And then just now, the Tomenian resubbing for 23 months. That's 1 month away from 2 years to say big dollar bombs dropping on my 2-year anniversary. Get ready, happy face. Dog, it sounds like someone's going to be the bit boss for the whole day to celebrate their birthday. Regardless, thank you for the 23 months, man. We do appreciate it. I'm actually really proud. I will say this before we get into the Olimoleague cast, and I know people on YouTube really don't always love hearing us talk about it, but this is actually a big deal for me. Most of the time when we're offline for a couple of days, much less like a week or something, but a couple of days even, we will see a pretty significant drop in subscribers. We actually have the exact same amount of subscribers as we did 4 days ago. And that number, which I'm sure a lot of you guys want to know, is not going to be... No, I'm just kidding. It's 1,209. So we're still sitting on this really perfect number. Obviously, it'd be better if it's bigger. Just saying. But thank you guys so much for your continued support. We really, truly do appreciate it. Now, that being said, let's jump into the Olimoleague. I'll get turned off. 1 second. Contrary to Reddit's popular belief, I play this game once in a while, and most scroll ends up making that bad for observing. So sorry about that. But spawning in the upper left side, we do have the Red Protoss Player Classic.
He's Gainer rushing.
Yes. Okay, this isn't the first time we've seen him do it.
On the bottom right, this is the Blue Protoss. He is stats.
Now, he knows this isn't Zest, right?
Yeah, right? That's what I was going to say. Because Zest is the only guy that they want to cannon rush. But classic cannon rush Zest, and it was all fun and games. But apparently it's more than just do it against the guy you've won against it before, because I'm not sure he's done it for stats in a while.
It's all fun and games until someone loses the Nexus.
like the fact that he got a probe in there without being scouted. I wonder like how much it is.
I love the precision of what he just did though. There's where's Sheezel? Sheezel out there, he'd be so proud. Sheezel has classic copying his strats. So one of the big things he did that was so important was he put the cannon in the backside. This was supposed to escort his cannons forward. Not needing that, he actually canceled it, giving him more money to put down more cannons up here. And as we can see, it's actually kind of difficult to get said cannons up. A cannon rush is laughable, but dealt with if you get on top of it early. However, I don't think stats, like the probe pull was a little bit late. He was hoping the Zealot alone would cover it. Like there's just elements of this where it's not going well for him. And I think this first game is, yeah. I mean, the overcharge is a nice touch, but that's like 5 cannons.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, it's 5 cannons. If it was 3 even, I think maybe you'd hold, but 5 is a little too much.
The really key thing is he just missed the snipe on the probe. Dipping into the range of the overcharge, if that probe goes down, all the cannons guarantee, you know,
oh my god,
more,
there's 3 cannons. They're, oh my god.
That's it. It's game over, lads.
This
probe! It's like, will he die? Won't he die? Here comes the backup probe. Anyways, I was gonna say, if the Nexus wasn't in range, this wasn't like gonna be jeopardized. This wouldn't be such a big deal. But no matter what happens from this point onwards, Stats has got 9 probes. Like Classic's building a gateway, and he's gonna be recovering off of this back on the other side of the map.
Yeah. Yeah. You can get 5 cannons down at once. I mean, that's some of the bank that Legacy of the Void affords you. It's usually nipped in the bud, either by finding the probe in the first place or just getting a full surround on the pylon of the cannon.
I love it. Well, as this game comes to a conclusion, rip Stats. Big shout out to No Regrets team in chat. If you guys missed it, he actually live streamed the GSL runs of a lot of folks in the BaseTradeTV house. Scarlet and Major, namely, qualifying the GSL was really cool to watch. Because normally I don't know why they don't stream those qualifiers, by the way. That blows me away every time.
Oh, it's been a question for 7 years.
I know, like, regardless, it was cool getting an actual look at things, but also if you guys didn't see it live, I was there live. Major versus Hurricane was such a sick qualifying series, so I'm really glad No Regret was able to bring us that content. But GG, the frustration of not wanting to tap out was very obvious there.
Right? That was, made me feel better as someone who loses to cannon rushes occasionally.
Well, Classic taking a lead in the series isn't so bad. I think it's Classic and Hero that have really been paving the way for Protoss through really cheesy builds these last few months. And I think you'd be really hard pressed finding a Protoss player who's got like Stats. It's funny. You look at him, he's like the man with a plan. He comes with macro, he doesn't cheese often, and he wins so many games for it. And he's good. But then you got people like Classic and Hero who are like, they're like the complete opposite of Protoss. Like they're the Joker to Stats' Batman.
They're really the legacy of the Protoss, and that's cheesing and cannon rushing and all inning. So respect.
I mean, if it gets you a win, take it. It's what matters the most at the end of the day. I actually didn't see, because I was looking at the top half of the live. Okay, so the winner of this plays Impact or Keen. All right. I don't actually know. I think I would like to see Keen versus one of these two, I think, for the next matchup, but there's some other good ones too in this bracket. This whole bracket looks nice. This is what I love about the Olimoleague. Like, you are actually a StarCraft fan in a candy shop of StarCraft players when it comes down to it. Like, there's just so many good matches.
I'm gonna take some Sour Patch Kids and some licorice snaps. Oh gosh.
I'm Zombie Grub. I'm gonna get some Sour Patch Kids and then spill sugar everywhere, all over my pocket and everywhere else.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That was not entirely my fault.
Okay, so there's a lot of things you guys can love and hate Zombie Grub for, right? But for me, like, I've seen her with her cat. I've seen her do her wooga 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 baby voice and all this shit. But the most adorable thing for me was watching her try to get sugar out of her pocket like a little kid who spilled candy. Like, she got these Sour Patch Kids while she was here in Vancouver. Or I guess after the game screen. And she put them in her pocket. And, like, she just couldn't get the sugar out. So she just sit there for, like, 4 minutes, like, patting her pocket, like, guys, I spilled sugar.
I mean, eventually I just put it inside out.
Yeah, I know. It's just funny watching the process. Of course, that was After we watched Power Rangers, go Power Rangers.
Which we haven't even talked about on stream.
Yeah, well, I guess that's the thing. Zombie Girl hates a movie. She doesn't want to spoil it. What a surprise.
Wait, I don't want to spoil it? I mean, how are you going to spoil it? Guys, they beat
there's
the
like
bad
a
guy.
ton of spoilers from Power Rangers, I would say, and I don't want to prove you right by naming them off, or wrong, but
Oh,
naming them
that
off.
was the trick.
Yeah, you almost got me.
No.
I just turned off scores. One second, I gotta fix that. All right, the Control Shift X fixed. Boom. All right, game number 2 after a very fast game number 1. Here in the bottom left, we do have the red Protoss player. He's up 1-0 and staying at home. It's classic.
In the bottom right, is the blue Protoss. He is stats.
All right, a real quick announcement to stream, by the way, before we get too far into this. It's currently 4:15 a.m. At some point during the finals, most likely, basically around 7 to 7:30 a.m., I'm going to have to leave temporarily. I finally have my credit cards back, but it's my dad driving them off for me from on his way to work because they were registered to my old address, not my new address. So I finally have money again, which is nice.
Money. Nice.
Just sucks that it all got stolen in the first place. I still, by the way, I will tell you guys, I hope, like this is just like a PSA. I'm an idiot, and I'm fully aware of that now, but don't keep more than what you need in your wallet. Losing my social insurance number, losing my care card, like these are the two most headachy things to recover. My bank was just like, oh, you got your passport there, eh? Okay, no good, no problem. Here's your new card. Like, not a problem. The bank was the easiest part of this. The other stuff,
very thick accent.
I didn't even have. How you doing now, Zombie Girl? Eh?
I'm not even getting it anymore.
Anyways, my problem is, and this is like the word to the wise for everybody else, like, if you don't need that stuff in your wallet, don't keep it in your wallet. Just because you, like, I spent 28 years before I ever had my wallet stolen, which is a good run in my opinion, but just sucks because, like, I didn't know what to do. I freaked out, and it's taken a very long process to recover.
You did lose your wallet, which also was scary.
Well, so I'm still not convinced I did. Like, I'm willing to admit that I'm clumsy and I'm silly and I'm dumb, but I have zipper pockets that for like once in my entire life are left open, and I feel like it's very unlikely that the wallet just happened to fall out.
No, not this time. At BlizzCon.
Oh,
Remember
okay.
you freaking out about your healthcare card?
But so that's different. That was lost versus stolen, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I said. Like, you also lost your wallet one time, which
Also,
like it means your credit card isn't going to be used.
Shout
hopefully.
out to the awesome nerds at BlizzCon, because for those who don't know that story, the TLDR is my wallet was lost, and that sucked, but they returned it to the lost and found with none of my ID or anything taken. They just took the $100 in cash.
Exactly.
Which I'm fine with. I'd rather lose money than my identity.
Exactly. Well, Adepts get in here, get 3 probes.
That's
not
impressive.
Too bad.
Like, he was on top of the field. Like, Stats saw that at the front. He was coming back. He was ready. Like, he knew this was going to come. So, still nice to see him handle it, even though Classic did get some worker kills for it.
Yeah, it can be very difficult to stop the Adepts from getting, like, any kills whatsoever, but that would be ideal.
Well, he's also going to be going with a Stargate follow-up to this, which is going to be quite interesting. Having already burned 1 overcharge, it's not like the Mothership Core is going to be out of energy or anything, but this is something where if Stats isn't paying attention for even just a moment, he can lose a lot.
Yeah, and that's what Classic's going to try and do, is distract him at the front. Stats has a probe over here, but I don't think it's actually for anything.
Yeah,
could be wrong.
Maybe I'll put a pylon down later. I mean, it's not bad to just have it out.
Yeah.
Yo, every time this guy resubs, I end up going German with the accent. So can you give him like a regular shout out for the resub?
Well, thank you to Frank Converter for the 15-month resub. Where to go? And did we get Daunted 232? The 2-month resub.
Woo!
Yeah.
All right, so he's gonna focus on the sentries. All eyes should be on the front, but the problem is, even though he's got the overcharge coming in the back, the Adepts. I thought they were going to be more of a distraction up front and let the Oracle go ham in the main. Comes in a little bit late to the party, but the overcharges are good to go, and he will be chased off.
Those 6 pokes, yeah. I mean, that's all the overcharges now. Down to almost 0 energy, but the Oracle should be covered just by Stalkers. And Blink is on the way. In fact, almost done compared to Classics. That is only just starting, but Classic has a faster Immortal, so it's a bit of a give and take. But Stats is the one that could snipe the Oracle. And is actually going to do a War Prism, too. And they still have 2 gateways, and there won't be a ton of aggression. But as I say that, 2 more gateways go down. He could contain a little. It's just that, those immortals coming out, they will start just being the better unit.
Well, unfortunately, well, the Oracle might not be getting lots and lots of kills. I was hoping he would at least live to do Revelations, but there's no chance that gets out of there alive.
Yeah. Stats is very quickly researching Resident Enclaves with 4 gateways. This actually might just be an attack that can actually kill Classic.
I love some of these responses in chat, by the way. Never leave the house, so you never lose your wallet. Win-win. I know, right? That was basically my mentality for a very long time. This is cool. I hope this was on purpose. The Stalkers with Revelation did reveal that the Nexus was coming down. I almost wish this was like a fake out of stats.
I think it might be.
Make it look like he's going for a third, but then actually use all these gateways for a gigantic all-in. And yeah, it might actually be. Pylon comes down on the left side of the map.
I mean, he stopped producing probes before Classic did, and Classic's probably going to get like a regular third that he actually intends to macro with, even though he's getting gateways now. He's also getting, +1 from the Forge, and then he's got like long-term on the Mind here. Stats really does not. And Stats, even though he opened up with Blink, and the Immortals would be great against Blink Stalkers, has been doing nothing but warping into depths for a while. So that's actually going to be a lot better versus the Immortals. And, of course, they can just hop on over to that main base if everything's going wrong in the front. But if Classic tries to take a third base right now, that could be really bad news. Oh, run away.
So this is kind of what works out for Stats a little bit, right? Like, he's going for this big attack, all in or not. The point is, if he actually can't win here, he can totally contain here. He's got to use the Warp Prism. I love that he cancels the Warp Prism to pick up and save the units that are already on the field, not letting them die through that force field. And this is what I'm talking about. Like, if he can't win a fight, I mean, again, he's like going 7 adepts at a time, right? But if he can't win a fight, he can keep Classic from taking a third, and that's how he can still get ahead from this. So this is, I like these moves out of Stats. I love the like semi-cancel there too is really well done. A couple of adepts get to the main. This is where he pushes into the natural, but 3 overcharges is a lot of damage. 2 overcharges not bad either, but the pylons go down. No Immortals for Stats, and he's still making this work out not too badly.
Yeah, not too badly. The fact that there's 3 pylon overcharges was really the scariest part, but now that they're gone, Classic is having difficulty. He does take out that Warp Prism, and the Immortals are still alive.
But this is the thing, like, he's fighting away from the ramp. The Immortals really aren't getting to shoot all that much. That force field was huge. But as the Immortals get unleashed, can they actually deal with what's left? No, not with another force field coming into play. Depths transfer through to the main, but the Stalkers are ready to catch him. Not that many probes die, but 12 is still a good number. Problem is, Classic still comes off the back end of this with no third.
Right, and Stats at least can, like, even if he didn't really have a lot of probes being made, there's only just now making them, like, can still transfer some of the ones that are running out of minerals in the main base or natural base. Classic is behind on probes. He is behind an army. He is probably going to fall behind on Immortals, actually, because he can't afford to continue producing them, and he doesn't have that many Adepts or Resident Enclaves. I mean, he's behind in every regard here. Stats should be able to win this game.
Except upgrades. He's got that much going for him, but I think the numbers game is going to matter what's most. Like, you're going to have 4 Stalkers with a +3. It's not going to matter if your opponent's got 12 Stalkers ready and waiting. Looks like, I'm not sure what. Looks like Adept. There we go. The natural transfer through, so a couple more probes die. This is huge, though, because this is where that economy leads to that numbers game. So what Classic is doing right now is go for Disruptors, and I think this is probably his best choice to go for it in this situation. You don't have that much money. You know your army supply is lower. The best thing you can do is hope to get like one amazing hit to level the playing field.
He actually cancels Resident Enclaves, because I was going to say that seems kind of useless if he is going to go into Disruptors. And I like that choice. If he went and went into Adepts and tried to just match Stats' army, his +2 upgrade would really help. That would actually maybe be the difference maker of like 15 supply, but I don't know about 30 or 40. So I like the choice to go into Disruptors. That's a much more likely chance to make up for 30, 40, maybe even 50 army supply if you can get to 2 or 3 Disruptors. And Stats is really not on point about splitting or sniping. But I gotta say, like, we've witnessed these Protosses snipe even 4 Disruptors, which is usually a pretty safe amount to at least protect defensively. Because they're pretty damn good at this game, so I don't think Sats is going to be too worried about 1 Disruptor.
Yeah, especially when you do have mobility. Like, this isn't an army without blink, but the problem is with so many of this, like, so much is being adepts and immortals, those can't dodge out of those shots. That being said, might not even matter. There's that numbers game coming into play.
Whoa.
Splits, takes like 2 adept losses. The immortals come through, focus firing his. GG, stats ties up the series 1-1. I love the 2 extremes between game 1 and game 2, by the way. Like the extreme cheese versus like the pretty extreme macro.
Yeah.
But alright guys, it's our first commercial break of the day. 2 minutes coming at you. We'll see you with game 3 to decide who wins in 2 minutes. Alright, welcome back. Big shoutouts to Bacon Hero. Or excuse me. Well, I like Bacon Hero too, but Daunted232 is who I was trying to shout out. Comes in the chat with a stats fighting emote. I've actually got to go renew my stats sub, I think. They pressured me into doing it on stream last month. I felt really bad. I got peer pressured into resubbing. Although, in fairness, I would probably do it anyway. Stats. Actually, I'll talk about that in a moment. Getting these intros out of the way in the top right. He is now tied up with his opponent. It is the Red Protoss Classic, who might not be staying at home.
Ha! Worked once.
There's no way.
The bottom left is the Blue Protoss. It's stats.
So this, I do not actually believe this is the intention of a cannon rush, but if it were, he'd have to do some sort of weird like low ground to high ground slow build up, and it wouldn't work. But yeah, it's not gonna be. Just funny to see because we know in game 1 that he was willing to do it.
It's a very long map to get that cannon. Like a lot of that, like you got the probe in so early and such a secret too, because stats didn't have anything at the front. It'd be unlikely at this stage too. And I feel like Proxima is a map that is just so popular for walling off, regardless of your past history. Like it just is Proxima. I'm gonna wall off, and then I'm gonna have a probe that if it isn't scouted, I could always change my plans to like potentially all in, or not all in, but maybe all in. But I was more thinking about like a proxy Stargate or like a hidden dark shrine, right? Like we've seen, because Proxima leads to proxies. But these guys are just using it as an opportunity to get the greediest build you can get, I think, in PvP, which is a Nexus after 1 gateway, not 2.
I feel like I hear you say something like that, by the way, too, and it's kind of like Proxima just sounds like the Latin for like must proxy, proxy must, Proxima.
Yeah, well that's how I remember, because really I really thought that Paladino was Proxima when I first saw the map pool. But it's not. Oh well. Anyways.
So while this probe picks away, I would like to just note that for those who haven't seen, BTSL's coming back this month. Today's the Olimoleague, and I hope you enjoy the heck out of it. But tomorrow's going to be the first BTSL Season 4. What's really important about that is we actually have an increased prize pool thanks to Match Arena, which is awesome. So if you guys haven't already, if one of the mods could grab the link from the BTSL thread on Team Liquid, I'd really appreciate it. But just already going to advertise people to use up those codes so that we've just got them good and done, and we just focus on the awesome games we're going to have tomorrow. So you play from both.
Right, but one person goes for Stargate on one base, the other one doesn't. So yeah, this is what I assumed that Classic was gonna do as well, was get the Nexus then the Stargate, right? Because you can get away with not having to open up double gateway. But I don't know if the extra 15 seconds is actually going to help the Stargate. It's going to be interesting to see what they both pop out with. Usually it's Oracle versus Oracle, but if you anticipate Stargate on Proxima, because it's a very common build,
well,
and they both could go Phoenix versus Phoenix.
What's really important is I think they both knew something weird was coming into play on account of the, like, first, I love how identical this is, except the pylon's the big difference here. But what I was going to say is, regardless of what Stats is doing, Classic is looking to do a lot of damage, not necessarily through said Stargate. This Phoenix was great. But while this opens up the wall for the Adept to come in, he snuck up on me. This is also going to possibly depower Warp Gate, which is going to be hugely problematic for any Protoss player. Doesn't get up there with the Mothership Core though, so not going to quite get it. I thought for sure you'd be working on busting down that pylon. Again, shutting this down is huge.
Yeah.
Oh no, come on, there we go.
So Warpgate is sold out, but I don't know how huge it is, as they've both recognized it's Phoenix versus Phoenix. I mean, Stats recognized it a little bit sooner, but doesn't really end up helping too much. So this might actually be a Phoenix versus Phoenix game, and there you go, Stats for the second Stargate. Classic is probably not going to be too far behind. Usually, if you, it's like Mute is in a way. Like if you scout your opponent going Mute is,
Well,
you don't usually transfer out.
So I do want to point out though that the pylons dying made up for the Nexus timing difference. Stats actually got supply block there, and especially with Chrono Boost on your Nexus, you probably missed like 2 or 3 probe rounds because of this. That let Classic stay on even probe count, and his own Nexus is done, so they're going to be matching each other.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually even more brutal because Stats really didn't recognize he was supply blocks. Those 2 pylons are pretty late.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, that is such like a, like Terran are used to that happening to them. I don't know that Protoss necessarily are.
Losing pylons at the front? Quite? I don't know. 2 Phoenixes do start up immediately, though, and this, like, despite that bit of a lull in supply block, should still be very favorable for Stats. I'm surprised that Classic is trying to transfer out into Blink Stalkers.
The Mothership Core is going to die. That was a risky endeavor, but if that had baited successfully and allowed these Phoenix to get in here, pick units up, this could have actually been very, very bad.
It's not Blink Stalkers. I don't know about this, though. Like, the chances of the Star Trend not being scouted when your opponent goes Phoenixes and soon enough will recognize that he has more Phoenixes is like, I don't know how effective it's going to be, but, you know, you're thinking they're going to make nothing but Phoenixes. I'll try and catch them not having an Oracle. The DTs can do a ton of damage. The Mothership Core scouts the Dark Shrine, funnily enough, so that's well in advance notice, and that's kind of a... I would say the Dark Shrines should be a failure. Obviously, it can do some damage, but it should be a failure, and that's going to really put Classic behind. Yeah. He's now putting down a double Stargate. Like,
I think the problem, though, is, like, you do have that I guess problem is like the wrong word, but the issue with production, right? Because Phoenix versus Phoenix is not a game about skill and microing and maneuvering like sometimes Mutalisks can be. But as we can see, like, the fact that you can move and shoot makes this a very silly engagement, and this is just one-sided.
It was. Like, Stats got the first shot off. He, you know, attacked before that 8th Phoenix popped out from the Stargate. Otherwise, it was a very close Phoenix fight, surprisingly close, as Stats did take that time to build a Robo and an Oracle, which took away from consistent 2 Phoenix production. Unfortunately, he doesn't really need that Robo, and he really, really doesn't need it because now Classic is going hard on his own Phoenix production. So they both made, I guess, mistakes, you know, trying to transfer out, be a little more clever than the Phoenix versus Phoenix, and it's, well, it's not even the game up. Stats still has a really big lead here, but it does mean that Classic has a lead on the upgrade, range upgrade, which could be very useful.
This is where it's funny. Anion Pulse Crystals has the weirdest effect on this matchup, and while it's been a long time since we've seen it, what ends up happening is, like, because Phoenixes just end up moving and shooting, if your Phoenix start off in range of your opponent, the range upgrade doesn't actually benefit you at all. Funny enough. But that being said, we've actually seen some really cool moves from players to come back from situations like this. The Dark Shrine, for example, could have been used for Archons, can't be picked up, get some splash damage, not too bad.
So awkward. Oh
but,
my god.
Yeah, no hypotheticals matter when Stats is just so far ahead at GG. I will say, I just put on the record, I still think the coolest way I've seen anybody come back from a Phoenix deficit in PvP still goes out to Rotterdam, hallucinating Phoenix. I think that's still my favorite thing I've seen to come back from that production deficit.
It was a cool idea.
All right. That being said, someone in the chat moments ago was like, how many matches are left today? Plenty. This was the first best of 3 today. Oh, I know we wanted to see possibly Classic versus Impact or Keen. We also have Hero versus maybe Alive or Solar. Man, there's so many good matchups on this bracket. Round 3, by the way, if it's Scarlet versus Zest, like, I'm dropping everything I'm doing. We're going to watch that match. But I guess that will just send us to another very awkwardly timed out commercial break as we try and find our next game. Please note that there's not actually a lot of games available just yet, so we're just doing the ad break to get it out of the way. And we'll see you guys soon as we have another match.